Do you have money to invest? Do you have entrep skills? And do you have the burning passion to succeed? Come on and build your business. Welcome everyone to the show. My name is Simon Maquinto, and today we are going to talk about a foundational topic, which is forms of business organizations with focus on the limited liability principle. Let's start. In building your business, one important consideration is the organizational structure. Do you want to just manage and operate it on your own? Or do you want to have partners? Or is it that you want to establish it as a separate legal entity? Your vision should be guided by the forms of business organizations: sole proprietorship, partnership, and corporation. Sole proprietorship, as defined in the case of Manila versus Court of Appeals, is a form of business organization conducted for profit by a single individual and requires its proprietor or owner to secure licenses and permits, register its business name, and pay taxes to the national government. On the other hand, partnership, as referred to in Article 1767 of the New Civil Code, is formed by two or more persons who bind themselves to contribute money, property, or industry to a common fund, with the intention of dividing the profits among themselves. A corporation, as defined in Section 2 of the Corporation Code of the Philippines, is an artificial being created by operation of law, having the right of succession and the powers, attributes, and properties expressly authorized by law or incident to its existence. To better understand the characteristics of these three, we have invited three guests who will represent each form of business organization. Welcome to the show, Mr. Sole Proprietorship. Can you tell me more about your qualities? With a sole proprietorship, only one person is responsible for providing the capital, bearing the risk of the enterprise, and the management of the business itself. So what makes it challenging and difficult to operate? With this form, the owner faces unlimited liability, meaning the creditors of the business may go after the personal properties or the personal assets of the owner. But sole proprietorship is easy to set up and the least costly among all forms of ownership. So it's like one-man control because there is no sharing of profit or loss. And as we said, there is unlimited liability. So since liability is the biggest consideration or focus of this episode, can you tell me more about the liability for a sole proprietor? Of course, in case of loss, if his business assets are not enough to pay the business liabilities from the creditors or lenders, then his personal property can also be utilized to pay these liabilities of the business. Very well. Thank you so much, Mr. Sole Proprietorship. So it confirms that the simplest and most prevalent among the business enterprises is the sole proprietorship, as what was said in the case of Berman Memorial Park versus Cheng. And let's have the next, which is Mr. Partnership. Well, I have something Mr. Sole Proprietorship does not have, and that is juridical personality. But one must remember, in general partnerships, all partners have unlimited liability. In limited partnerships, creditors cannot go after the personal assets of the limited partners. That's one good way to begin with. And by the way, what is the basis of a partnership? Partnership is created by an agreement among the persons who have agreed to join hands. So it is founded on the contractual relationship where, according to our civil code, the partners have obligations to themselves as well as to the third person. So it's a relationship. So how does it relate to agency? There must be agency relationship between the partners. Every partner is a principal as well as the agent of the firm. When a partner deals with other parties, he acts as an agent of the other partners. And at the same time, the other partners become the principal. One last thing, Mr. Partnership, how do we classify partners according to their liability? Based on liability, the partners can be classified as limited partners or general partners. The liability of limited partners is limited to the extent of their capital contribution. The partners having unlimited liability are called as general partners or partners with unlimited liability. And it may be noted that every partner who is not a limited partner is treated as a general partner. And there we have it, Mr. Partnership. Thank you so much. And let's have the big guy, Mr. Corporation. Well, thank you for inviting me. With the limited time that I have, I will just enlighten you on the limited liability principle. Very well, sir. Kindly proceed. Well, limited liability means that the investors can only lose money that they have invested. The creditors or the lenders can only recover money from the existing assets of the business. They cannot claim the personal assets of the shareholders to recover the amounts owned by the company. Indeed, that is consistent with the discussions of Mr. Partnership. Okay, so since you are trying to compare us, like partnership, a corporation has a juridical personality, separate and distinct from the individuals composing it. Like partnership, a corporation distributes its profits to those who have contributed the capital, although an industrial partner also shares in the partnership profits. And also, like partnership, a corporation can only act through its agents. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Corporation. So that's our closer look to the three forms of business organizations, and we can summarize the comparison of these three in this next clip. Thank you so much for watching, and always remember that the time is now to build your business.